Hello and greetings of peace. How well do you know your shadow self? The topic of our discussion today is conquering evil. But before I do that, I want to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Aya Akiri. I'm just a young lady, an adventurer, a wayfarer, crossing continents and cultures, only to discover the truth that unites us all, our interconnection with each other and the universe. I'm a certified leadership coach credentialed by the International Coaching Federation. I'm an organizational leadership specialist, and I'm an emotional resilience coach and mentor. My goal is to transform the conception of leadership into one of inner peace, wisdom, and creation-based thinking. I empower leaders to lead from their souls through conscious awareness via coaching and mentoring. I help time-strapped, overworked, and ambitious executives, business owners, and professionals to go from existing to living. How well do you know your shadow self? Conquering evil. In the previous video, I discussed the 5 internal monsters described by Parker Palmer as unhealthy motivation behind toxic leadership. Craig Johnson describes a 6th monster he calls evil, lurking in leaders and followers alike. It refers to a force far darker and more powerful than fear and self-doubt. Also, Kellerman, describing bad leadership, he's classified 7 types of bad leadership, and the last was evil leadership, where leaders commit atrocities. We see evil everywhere in the world. And perhaps by trying to understand evil a little bit better, that we might be able to mitigate its effects. We will not be able to completely eliminate evil because the concept of evil is not moral, it's existential. In the dictionary, evil is defined as something that causes sorrow, pain, or calamity. The Swiss psychologist Carl Jung, he talks about the shadow self, that subconscious aspect of our personality that the conscious ego does not identify itself with. So Carl Jung writes, everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. Perhaps he's referring to an extreme form of an enormous ego at its deepest and darkest hour. An unnatural force within all. Craig Johnson describes 6 faces of evil as a way of understanding and combating this unnatural demon. The first one he described is evil as pleasure. And as the name implies, some people commit evil to experience pleasure. They project their insecurities onto others, their inner darkness. It's their way of feeling feeling a sense of control over their inner darkness. There was a study conducted by Alfred, political science professor in the University of Maryland, where he studied 60 participants from different age groups, from students to working population to prisoners, and he compared basically they discussed evil, and he just wanted to compare the experience of evil, their understanding of evil. Alfred, and he documented the research in his book, What Evil Means to Us. Alfred argues, and I quote, "Evil is about nothingness, the dread of boundlessness and everything that and all that goes with it. Loss of self, loss of meaning, loss of history, a loss of connection to the world itself." From his study, Alfred defined evil as an experience of dread almost beyond words. And evil is an attempt to master that experience by inflicting it onto others. So his goal was not really to just define evil. It was more about uncovering how the experience affects the definition of evil. And he concluded that evil is a combination of dread and pleasure. Some commit evil acts to fulfill that sense of emptiness inside. It sounds shocking, but some people do not feel fulfilled by the normal everyday distractions like surfing the net or going for a walk, watching a video or reading, and they seek other forms of fulfillment or pleasure or entertainment. So a perfect example of that would be psychopaths. By definition, they have a high threshold for stimulation, so they engage in what's called sensation-seeking behavior. So they seek sensation by engaging in violent criminal acts. The characteristics of psychopathy, according to forensic psychology, is lack of remorse and guilt, manipulation. They're pathological liars. They're impulsive. They have a dangerous combination of superficial charm, high intelligence, and incapacity for love. An example used in psychology is the case of Theodore Bundet, and his story is kind of, I don't know if it's typical because it is called a strange case, but it's kind of it goes in alignment with this idea of evil as pleasure. So he was a handsome young man, graduated from high school, then went into college. He worked as a volunteer at the suicide hotline, and he dated a girl, a society girl. And the turning point was when she broke off their engagement. After that, he was devastated, and he started stalking women on the street. He impersonated students or the security guard on campus and elsewhere, and sometimes requesting assistance for his arm that was in a sling, and he killed 14 women. Awful as it seems, evil for its perpetrators is an exciting pastime where they get a rush of adrenaline and pleasure. Exploring the shadow self, as Jung calls it, or that darker side of the human persona, is one way for leaders to come to grips with the idea of evil, of how to understand it and deal with it. And the first step to conquering evil as a pleasure is to reflect on our motivation, especially during those challenging times when perception collapses and fear plays tricks on the mind. We are more likely to project those dreadful feelings onto others. So pause and reflect. Have you ever felt the urge to hurt somebody? To fill the emptiness inside? And that could be like just a nasty remark or a bad joke. How are you projecting your insecurities onto others? How well do you know your shadows? Come with me, let's sleep together. Again, this is Dr. Aya Akeri, Leadership and Emotional Resilience Coach and Mentor. You can reach out and book a call with me or ask questions down below. You can reach me at my website, www.drayaakeri.com, and also through dropping an emoji or a comment below. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.